I've got a tiger by the tail, it's plain to see. I won't be much when you get through with me. Well, I'm a losing weight and I'm turning mighty pale. Looks like I've got a tiger by the tail.
Well, you can try to tame the tiger, or you can let the tiger tame you. Various studies and research have shown the benefits of having pets or utilizing pet therapy. Kevin Rose is a licensed massage therapist and a certified craniosacral therapist, and he's creator of Catalyst. And he joins us now to discuss the benefits of using tigers to help heal veterans. And we welcome you to the program, Kevin.
Thank you for having me, Mark. Do you mind if I use that song on my intro next time?
Oh, no, feel free to. Yeah, Buck Owens, a classic from way back there. So I was trying to decide that and a jazz rendition of Eye of the Tiger as to show. Yeah, one's for getting ready for a fight and the other one is chilling out. So I'll play that on going out there. But, tigers can be, they're quite majestic, quite powerful, and I guess it depends on your purpose and and what you're doing with them, but you're using tigers to help train heal veterans. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, the Catalyst is a human-animal interaction program, and it teaches grounding and sensory focus skills to help eliminate stress, and it takes participants literally from feeling chaotic to calm in seconds. And the kicker is, though, we do involve some of the world's most powerful predators on the planet to help with this stress elimination process. Now, during the program, the participants come face-to-face through a fence, of course, with tigers, cougars, black Asian leopards, and even a bear.
Now, go ahead.
That's all right. You go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking from the standpoint of maybe someone that's going to be subjected to that kind of therapy, it might kind of take them back for just a second, especially if they lunge at the. Yeah. But what is the reaction initially? And then I also got to kind of get an idea of how the animals react to people peering in at them, too.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the basis of the program. As we progress through the program, the participants, we ask them to bring something stressful to mind. Now, we don't ever ask any details. We just have them bring up the stress inside, and we help them recognize how the stress affects their bodies. So as they bring something stressful to mind, they may feel their jaw clenching or their neck and shoulders tightening. And as they experience this stress, they get to watch the animals become agitated in response to the stress. So then we teach the participants how to bring their awareness to the present moment and using just some really simple sensory awareness techniques. And these techniques help them calm the feelings of stress, and they watch as the animals respond and become calm as well. So the animals literally will mirror their reaction both ways, and it's an incredibly powerful experience to see something that big literally acting on your feelings.
Is it more of a visual, or do they have a chance maybe to get a little closer as things progress to have a little bit more interaction with the animals?
Well, the only thing that's separating us and the animals is a fence. Mm-hmm. So they're literally right up next to the fence. And at times, when when the person brings the stress up, a lot of times what will happen is the animal will move away. So they'll literally move away to the other side of the enclosure. You'll see them pacing some, you'll hear them growling. And as I teach the participant to ground, to just bring themselves into the present moment, so often the animal will just come right back over and a lot of times literally just lay down in front of where we're standing.
Wow. Now, body language, demeanor, there are different signals that one can put off that would indicate their mood or frame of mind. Are animals sort of in tune with us to be able to detect those things easily? If somebody's really anxious or upset, the animals can I know even with hunting, a lot of times they'll say with bears, they can or dogs, they can smell your fear, they can detect your fear. Are they that in tune with us?
Oh, absolutely. And, when you think about dogs and horses and domestic animals, cats, that you're around all the time, if you have them as pets or even if you don't, you know when they are scared of you or where they're hesitant to come near you. But things like tigers, leopards, things that are captive wild animals, these animals have never been domesticated. And so they are they're living in a more heightened sense of awareness than even domesticated animals. So their response is finely tuned to whatever their environment presents to them. So as a result, if we walk in and I have them the participant bring up stress, those animals will react really, really quickly.
A lot of times people will talk about when you're feeling anxious, various circumstances that maybe you're having some anxiety, that deep, measured, slow breathing. And I think a lot of people overlook the fact that we have a few more controls at our fingertips than we realize with our own selves.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you think about it, all the information that we take in from the surrounding is done so through our senses. So, everything we bring in and then process in our brain, we take in through the five senses. And when we are in a heightened state, there's like an anxious state, there's a mechanism called the fight or flight response. You may have heard of that. And what that does is it amps up our awareness so that we can either stay in fight or run. And when we're in that fight or flight state, those senses are heightened. Now, what we do at the Catalyst is we heighten your senses, but we do it in a calm way. So it literally counteracts and counterbalances somebody that's dealt with some kind of a traumatic incident by teaching them that they can heighten those senses but stay calm at the same time.
With bomb-sniffing dogs and some other animals that might have certain talents or abilities, and I even think the senses of a dog's acute smelling after a period of time of sniffings for certain things, I think it kind of uses up maybe their usefulness for that particular task in regards to tigers and animal therapy type situation. Is there any sort of expiration date for how long an animal might be able to be utilized in that way?
Well, it's a good question. Pardon me. I've done this for about 6 years, and really the only outcome for the animal is that it seems to be an incredible source of enrichment for them, because they're never engaged in the same way as we engage them at the Catalyst. People go to a zoo or something and you just look at the animal, but very rarely do you really engage that animal in an energetic form, for lack of better words. So to date, really what I see when I show up is there's almost an excitement like they have a job to do.
Now, through the Catalyst program, how long of a I don't know if it's fair to call it a course, but how long of a program is it? Well,
the actual session lasts for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's with an individual. I also work with groups, so those could last 3 to 4 hours, depending on the size of the group. So that's about the length of time. Because I'm offering this free to combat veterans. There's never a minimum. They can come back anytime they want. As a matter of fact, my purpose is to teach this approach to combat veterans so that they can then teach other combat veterans coming through. They can walk them through the program. So it'll literally create camaraderie in a peaceful fashion.
I want to get your take on something, and not to show any disrespect for the cause or the effort or anything. Anybody who cares to want to try to help anyone with trouble, PTSD, veterans, individuals, whatever the case is, it's very noble to want to do that. But I have to ask you, and as you know, the Chris Kyle trial wrapped up recently, and know all the circumstances around that. I just found it a little curious, and so I want your take on this. If a soldier is suffering from PTSD, there's a good chance that it's a result of from what he saw, from what he participated in, from his environment, something that he absorbed while he was there. And certainly over there was a lot of battle situations. Now, Ralph, it was mentioned that he did not see any of those battle situations, but many of the soldiers coming back dealing with PTSD has seen battle action and things like that. I found it a little curious that you would use guns and a rifle range as therapy for something that might actually could trigger or may have triggered that condition.
Well, and that's a good point. However, if you look at what Chris Kyle was doing, he was, from what I know of the story now, he was taking men out, maybe even women, I don't know, but in a controlled environment and was letting them share their story and really on the gun range, matching where that person was, so they could feel more like a person, shooting that gun again, but doing so in a peaceful manner. And, that's really the difference, I think. If you're surrounded in war and you're having all these things going on, again, your senses are heightened by that fight or flight response. It seems to me what Chris Kyle was doing was bringing that fight or flight response down simply by being a friend. And, to me, that's really the only thing that can really break that fight or flight response is something that counteracts it and counterbalances it. And that's why I started using the big cats, because there's a sense of I'm not the top of the food chain anymore, right? And so it creates this sense of heightened awareness. But as I teach them these grounding principles, it brings them into their body, and they get to realize that they can be heightened but calm at the same time.
How does somebody apply or qualify for the Catalyst program?
Well, all they need to do is contact me. All my information is on the website. Happy to give out my number, but if they're in the Orlando area, maybe they're on vacation and just need a day, all they have to do is contact me, and they'll be welcome in the program.
Now, on your website, I see it looks like there is an offer of a free instructional guide. Is that the one called Eliminate Stress in 20 Seconds or Less?
Yes, sir, that is.
Give that website if you would.
I will. It's www.catalystrefuge.com.
As I introduced you as a diplomat certified craniosacral therapist, what the heck is that?
Well, it's a good question, too. Craniosacral therapy is a form of manual therapy, so a hands-on therapy, and it's a very light touch therapy that works with the brain and spinal cord. When you work with the brain and spinal cord, you're working with the central nervous system. When you work with the central nervous system, you affect the whole body. So it's finding dysfunction in that system and correcting it manually.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to mention, Kevin?
No, that's it. I really appreciate your time and just want all the men and women out there that may be interested, come on down, and love to have you.
All right. Appreciate you being on the program. That was Buck Owens that played you in. If you'll hang on the line just for a quick second, I'll play you live for us. It's the jazz version of Eye of the Tiger. We appreciate you being with us today.
Thanks so much for your time, Mark. I appreciate it.